Hey guys, welcome to Back of the Rack gaming podcast or video cast. We're planning on doing a series, actually just a bunch of podcasts where we sort of talk about, games that are like middle tier or
average. That's a good one.
Yeah, like average games that like were hidden or just like kind of, in the back of the rack of, the GameStop or whatever, store.
Big Lots.
Yeah. Exactly. So this is the first episode and we're trying to figure out how, the flow of things will go. So, bear with us, but I'll introduce myself first and I'll, give you guys a little bit of my gaming history. And then obviously my experience with hearing about Bladestorm, since that is the first game we're going to be talking about. So you can just refer to me on here as Bendez. I have played games for as long as I can really remember. It was definitely one of those experiences where it was very therapeutic and insular. I was always moving, so I couldn't really keep the same friends, and so gaming was always a constant in my life. Some of my favorite games growing up were a lot of hack and slash, beat 'em up, titles. I had siblings, so I couldn't really ever sit down and play a really lengthy RPG because I have a split screen game. Exactly. Yeah. So while I was always into a lot of JRPGs and stuff like that, I could never complete them because I would have to just buy them for the weekend or rent it or whatever and then return it. And to bring it back full circle, Bladestorm was sort of in the it was always it always caught my eye. Exactly. Yeah, I was always what is that? That looks kind of sick. And especially because at the time I was really into Dynasty Warriors, which is a perfect split screen game, just hack and slash kind of shit.
Textural bases. That's exactly what I used to play with my little brother. That's why I love Dynasty Warriors so much. I used to play Dynasty Warriors all the time, and we would play on Woo as Sunsei and Sunkorn all the time.
And those games are I think a lot of people have a lot of negative perspectives on those games for some reason. I guess a lot of the negative perspective is because they're the same game every release.
Right.
I feel I don't know, that just doesn't. I mean, granted, I have never played every single Dynasty Warrior, so I wasn't the one paying $60 every time being I'm fucking sick of this shit.
Yeah.
But it is a fun series.
Yeah, most people are kind of digging it now. I mean, you got Persona 5, you got Hyrule, and Fire Emblem, stuff like that. So, I mean, they're kind of breaking the mold a little bit. It's as long as you don't do Romance of the Three Kingdoms, people are cool, yeah, I like that. That was nice.
Yeah, a little twist on it. But anyways, why don't you go, ahead and do your introduction of who you are and your games and shit.
So, I am Sondi. That's what you can refer to me as. I also play video games for the majority of my life. The main thing really is I was not really one of those kids that was can say as you can behind me is my collection, and most of the games I had doesn't even fit on one shelf. I barely had games. I had my specific games on GameCube, and that was the ones. And as I grew, everything I had to either rent at Blockbusters or trade it in at GameStop real quick and get whatever was in the bargain bin for cheap that was not rated M, because I had to walk to the GameStop myself and get the games. So mom wasn't going to take me to GameStop. So that's how I found Bladestorm, is because I was poor, so I couldn't afford games. So I had to download all the demos from Xbox Live. And one of those demos was Bladestorm. I had to play it nonstop. Yo, this is crazy, man. This is cool. And then I eventually copped it on the bargain bin. Don't remember much of it until I started playing it again.
So your collection now, are any of those original from your childhood, or are these games you've reacquired? No,
I've traded everything in. For every new system, I traded it in until I got this GameCube, and I was I ain't trading nothing in no more.
Yo, me too. Do you feel do you regret that?
Yes. I had Chow. Like Sonic Adventure to Battle is my favorite game of all time, and I had like Chaos Chow. Like those are the hardest things to get in that game. Like, and I had those on my like memory drive, chilling, and they're gone forever. I gotta grind for that again, and I'm too lazy for that. So it's certain things like that I'm like, oh, I wish I had it still, but well, you live and you learn.
I was reading a comment somewhere that was like, retro gamers or people who are like rebuying PS2s and shit like that are just trying to buy back their childhood. And I was like, damn, that's somewhat true.
Yeah, you ain't wrong.
Like it's a huge like nostalgia trip, to like I think one of my first consoles was Sega, the Sega Genesis. Was it? Yeah, Sega Genesis was like the first one, but this was like when everybody had PS2s and everybody had like GameCubes and shit. So I was behind.
Oh
like,
yeah, a long ways.
Yeah, but that was like the first thing my mom, like I think it was at a yard sale. Like it was cheap, like I mean we were poor too, like single parent home,
right?
So yeah, like just replaying like some of those games, or like the art style like really like sticks with you, because it's like just growing up, those visuals like stick in your mind.
Yeah, that's how I feel about most of those games back there. Like it's really the games like the back of the rack that I looked at and was like, I wonder what this is. I don't know what this is, but could never really get it. So I just like, let's see what it is. You never know. I might have missed something golden like Kingdom Hearts.
Oh yeah. So yeah, with Bladestorm. So this game originally came out in?
It was like in 2007.
Yeah, 2007. Yeah, so that was like I was in high school. You were what, in middle school then?
I'm gonna age you, bro.
I told you my age.
I was in 5th grade.
You were in 5th grade. I was in
5th grade.
I just went into high school. Wait, 1, 2. No, I went into I was a sophomore in high school when that game came out.
Sheesh.
Yeah. So damn. I mean, even then, but like I feel like between the ages of, or even the grades of 5 to like, let's see, 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th, those 3, like you're still like a kid. I feel like by junior year, you like I feel like your mentality starts to change with things, but like, yeah, freshman and sophomore, I was still doing like middle school shit.
Oh yeah, it wasn't until I hit puberty. Like I think I hit puberty going from 10th to 11th grade, and like
exactly,
I was like 5 foot, like barely 5 foot. I was one of those little freshmen. So now like
the big ass backpack and shit hunched over.
Touch me, and then I just magically and sprouted up, and I was just like, oh, look at her.
Wait, how tall are you?
I'm 6'3".
God damn, what the? Okay, yeah. What the?
Yeah, it was a big. I had the hugest like growth spurt. People was like, what the fuck? And it didn't help that I moved away. So like where I was, by the time that like everything settled, I was in a new area up here. Like I moved from Atlanta to here, so it kind of just threw everything off, and I was like, well, I gotta be a new person now. Can't be the nerdy dork from an anime club no more.
Yeah, I can't like, I can't be playing games like Bladestorm. I have to be playing Call of Duty or not be playing games at all, really.
Yeah, exactly. Go outside. You might try to do all that.
Yeah. Damn, dude, I'm 5'10". It's funny because I can't, like when you were walking around and stuff, I couldn't tell like how tall you were, but I wouldn't have said like, oh yeah, he's 6'3".
But to be fair, my whole house is tall. So like, like my roommates, my girlfriend, everybody is like, yeah, like your height, like 5'10", 6 foot. Yeah, so it could be worse.
yeah. I mean, 5'10" is, I think it's average,
Yeah.
But
because once you hit 6 foot, people are like, oh, you play ball? You ain't in the league. What's up with you?
Yeah.
Hitting you with that. I actually saw doing research for this game that it was originally supposed to be Kessen 4. Now, Kessen is an old PlayStation 2 series, which was a real-time tactics game. It was set in like it switched between like the Edo period and the Romance of the Three Kingdoms period in between. And pretty
Yeah,
much
yeah,
you control the general, and then you have all the units around you, and you go and attack and do all your things, and you can switch between the different units and do that to take over battles. It's kind of like playing an RTS, but you are the unit specifically doing
yeah.
everything. And it's a very strange game. So essentially, baseline, what you do is this is the 100-Year War between Europe, I mean England, they're both in Europe, England and France. And what you have to do is pick a side because you're a mercenary, and you can switch sides between every battle. And you get these contracts to say, hey, capture this base, or hey, protect this base, or hey, take out this general. And you go with your units in battle, and you do the things. So that is the entire game right there. That's
What? Yeah, that's yeah. And I mean, that's really like uh that's an overview, but like that's really it.
yeah, like
Like, there's nothing more really to like put as far as like um, like story wise or anything. That's kind of it. It is kind of arcadey in
yeah,
that sense.
you just kind of
You
just do
know,
your thing and you just go. But I do say, because this game was re-released in 2015, there was a Nightmare expansion, and it's just
that's right.
a upscale to PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC, and all they added was the Nightmare mode, and it's essentially the opposite of the original game. Because instead of having, because the way that the game goes is you have to do missions to get fame and do certain parameters to unlock story events to progress forward.
Yeah,
And I know both of us we'll get into that later, but
yeah,
that's really halting. While the nightmare mode is just a strict one mission, here's some story before and after, go do the objective, missions over, like a traditional Dynasty Warriors story mode where they have talking and everything, and then finishes and has a concrete ending and everything. It's very bizarre.
that's yeah. No, that's exactly how I would describe it. It's really, really strange, but it is like a good mix of what they were trying to do with Dynasty Warriors, but also taking that idea and like I guess adding a different twist to it or a different angle. Like, okay, instead of one person that can destroy a whole army, what if we give you that army to be, and then you can attack all these other people, and it makes it. I guess it's almost more realistic
Yes,
than
yes.
Dynasty Warriors,
There's
more
not
grounded.
really, yeah. There's only like one ability I can think of off the top of my head. That's the great sword. They have like the sword slash wave, like
Yeah,
anime thing that you can do. But other than that, all of the abilities are pretty like, okay, I just do a big stab, or I just do a big swing, or something like that, or I just increase my
yeah.
damage or health, or something like that. But it's nothing crazy except for the great sword.
Yeah, yeah, there's no, magic or anything
Until
like
we
that.
get the
There's
nightmare
yeah,
in the
nightmare mode,
base
which
game.
is yeah, yeah. So, if we're talking about the original release in 2007, Bladestorm was just the European conflict and was pretty grounded, as far as, like, like, not having any fantasy elements and stuff like that, which I didn't actually play. You said you played the original, right?
Yes, way back.
Yeah, so I didn't play, I just saw it in, like, magazines, so, like, playing the PS4 release, which is basically the base game, with, like, up-resed, like, models and shit. This was, like, my first time with it, but, I guess after years of playing Dynasty Warriors and stuff, you can really see, like, that influence, in the gameplay, or not influence, but I mean, it's using the same engine, like,
Yeah,
as
like
a
there's
lot of the
a Bladestorm, which is the Muso attack of the
yeah.
game. And it's not even
Yeah.
the Muso like giant, oh, I'm gonna summon a dragon
Yeah.
to attack. It's just you
Right.
attack faster, like and move faster. That's all.
Exactly, yeah, it's like a power up as opposed to like well, I guess in
Yeah, it's
the
like a
Dynasty
super
Warriors yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It's like a superstar, essentially, from Mario.
There you go.
That you have
Yeah.
to kill people to get.
Yeah. Um, so let's talk about like I guess our impressions during our time with it. So I spent like about 23 to 20 to 30 hours almost, like in between there. Like last time I checked. I didn't beat the game. So
Me
uh
neither.
yeah. How much time did you spend?
I'd say about around roughly the same amount of time. I've been more on a nightmare mode now since I had to restart. I actually just got my cloud save back, so
Oh
luckily I
shit,
can
okay.
play it now on the PS5 and see the big difference. But I'm almost done with nightmare mode because it has like a map, and each map is a certain section, and like I only have two more sections left to like fill. So I think I'm almost done. I think I don't know. I haven't really been paying attention to the story. It's a little out there for nightmare mode, but
Yeah, I think I was reading that it was 8 chapters, and like each chapter is like one battle, I want to say, and
it's
it's
just
like really
one.
long.
Yeah, like those battles are long. Like I think the first battle alone is like an hour or two that I spent like in the map because it kept unlocking everything and like slowly, and then I just had to walk from this side to the map to the other side of the map. It was a lot, too much.
Yeah. So I think some of my impressions with like I think first off, the button layout was super like it was just like unintuitive to me initially. Like,
Yes.
like I didn't know obviously like maybe I'm just used to action games, right? Like I was like I guess before I was playing Bladestorm, I was playing Dragon Quest Heroes 2, which is like a Muso style Dragon Quest game. And in Bladestorm, there's no like hitting square to like attack and then you kind of like feel the like that,
Yes.
it's really that holding R, which is not intuitive, I think.
Right. And then how many times I gotta ask you this? How many times when you're playing the game were you just trying to walk up to something and then your character does like a side swipe this way and like completely
Yeah.
misses the target and you're just like,
Yeah.
okay, what do I
Yeah,
what how do
like
I reposition?
yeah, it's wonky. Sometimes it felt like the characters weren't scaled to the map. Like,
Yes.
like it felt like they were smaller than like everything else sometimes.
Yes,
Like
because
they
there's
were
a
like
lot of
mini people.
walking, and there's not a
Yeah.
way to like speed run if you're not like a mounted unit. It's
Yeah.
just you just gotta walk, you just gotta march it out, and because you can hold R2 to like rally all your people into like a formation, and but it
Yeah.
doesn't make you run any faster. It
No.
just makes
And
you. I use it only to control myself easier. It's easier to
exactly.
steer, but it's
Yeah.
it's not nothing different.
Yeah, no, tell me why the first 5 hours I thought that, like, that rally, button R2 was, like, speeding up the characters, and
I'm
I was
not
like,
gonna
"Hold
lie.
on." Yeah, I was
I
like, "Wait
did
a second,
too.
what the f"
I was like, maybe they're
dude,
going a little bit fast. Maybe it's like 1%. I don't know. Maybe.
exactly, I was like, "Wait, what is this just call them to me? They're already with me, like, it's not like they can really,
Go
like"
away.
yeah, like, I guess they get caught behind some of the geometry,
Right.
but, like, the camera, like, pans back out, and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, we're going faster," like, uh, it's not the case at all, yeah, so, yeah, the button layout was just a little interesting, and I feel like you don't see that kind of stuff nowadays, like, those that kind of experimental controls and like that,
Yes.
it's more standard with a lot of things now.
Yes. Just to go, I'd say just to go off of that, the same thing can be said about like the missions. The way the missions are set up, is really weird. The way that they just give them to you, like they'll give you like my very first impression was that I don't care about the story, and that's sad
Yeah.
because I really like. There's a PSP game called that's also a back of the rack one called Joan of Arc. That's about Joan
Oh!
of Arc.
Oh!
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yo! That was like oh my god, yeah, we have to do that at some
yeah.
point.
That was a good
Although
one, and that's what I was thought I was going to get going into the game is that I would eventually have to pick a side or something like that. To be like, okay, let me go with the Black Prince, or let me go with Joan of Arc, or let me meet these other characters, to meet other mercenaries so I can feel something. Because that's the thing about Dynasty Warriors games is that even if like you can still feel something for every character. Like even what's the bald dude from Way? He's always got an axe.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I think it's I want to say Dianway,
Yeah, Deanne.
Dianway,
Yeah,
something. Yeah, something
like
like that.
even though he's such a generic character, you still feel something for him. When you see him, you know who he is. But most of the mercenaries, I didn't feel anything for. Prince Edward, Joan of Arc, like the whole story of them like talking and stuff. I didn't really feel anything about it because they didn't make me feel anything. Like there was one specific cutscene I remember where I think it was Joan of Arc was going to sacrifice a bunch of villages and then just straight pillage them just so she can get back at the English. And unlike she's telling the mercenaries, okay, go pillage those villages. And the mercenaries like, wait, but there's people in there. We're not going to just kill innocent people. And they're like, do it for glory. And then you just
Right.
go do it. And then, like, there's no ifs or buts about it. It just feels weird to me.
That kind of brings into question. Well, I mean, aside from being like like a moral conundrum, the uh, what do you play games? So a game like this, right? I feel like when this came out in 2007, I don't think that a lot of people had a expectation of narrative for video games, right? I think like the quality of writing in games and them being like you know story story driven things that had like well, I guess that's kind of not true.
I
So I guess what I'm
kind of
trying to say,
I can say that. Like console wise, I can say that. I know
right?
PC games been doing that since the 90s, but like console wise, I think all you really had was Halo.
Yeah, yeah,
It's really that like off the top of my head, that's all I can think about back in 2007 cuz yeah, the Wii, Xbox, all of that was just coming out. So like it's all you had was Halo 3 finish the fight.
yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think like gameplay was king back then. It was more important to have like maybe some sort of interesting or gimmicky gameplay than like a cohesive and thoughtful story. The story was almost just put together as an excuse for the gameplay sometimes.
Right. Because I
Um,
can excuse it. Long as the gameplay is fine. See, it all
yeah.
depends. It has to engage you first. And the thing
Mhm.
is, this game does not engage you first because the first thing you see is create your character. Okay, you're a mercenary. Go fight. It's not
Yeah.
explaining why you're fighting for both sides or what's going on.
It would have been interesting if instead of creating your own character, which I mean, I love creating my own character, but it would have been more interesting had it like I guess if you were able to choose who like what side you wanted to fight like as and like you would be stuck with that decision throughout the game, you know?
Yes, that would probably
Like
be better. And then you can just replay as the either other side just as
yeah.
a new thing. That'll probably be a lot better, especially with getting through the story and stuff like that. And then it'll be
Yeah.
cooler if like instead of throwing your skill points into leadership to increase your units, that your fame level and your ranks in the military in the army allowed you to get more and more units so that you start
Yeah.
becoming that giant armada of people. That'll be very interesting compared to what they gave us.
I can also see how like the way that it is now would have been better for like player freedom, maybe.
Yes, because I
Like
do
I feel
remember that was back in the day. I used to like role play as my characters when I make them in video games. So I probably was doing it. And it's like, oh, come on, guys.
yeah, yeah, like a self-insert kind of situation. They're like this might be more suited to like players, but as far as the story goes and like maybe cohesiveness and maybe progress because the progress in the game is the way that you progress is a little confusing. It feels a little directionless and aimless at times, which is actually why I think we both kind of put the game put the game down after so many hours.
Right.
That's kind of all I have to say about like that's I guess the story and like it's weird kind of linearity, I guess.
Yes.
Um, do you
And
have
just
any
to
other impressions?
just to piggyback off of that, I'd say it kind of it's kind of structured more. Like we kind of get that in nightmare mode, and it's kind of like it's really nice, but at the same time, nightmare mode is just it throws me off a little bit because there's certain characters in there that like they expect you to care about, like the mercenaries. Like there's certain mercenaries in there that they like throw at you like as main party characters that like you don't care about because they're just generic NPCs that can or cannot be on your side. So it's kind of like, why do I care? It's like when you play, if you've ever played like an Empire's Dynasty Warriors game
Hmm.
and you
I have.
just hit random and go, it's like
Yeah,
that where you're just like, oh, it's just that guy, oh, whatever, oh, he's on this team now, cool. Like you don't really
yeah,
care, and they expect for you to care in nightmare mode because there's no like, yeah, it's confusing. I mean, it's more structured at least, so you can quickly get to a beginning, middle, and end, but
yeah,
it's the same shit, honestly, just longer.
yeah. No, I mean, I didn't get to try out Nightmare Mode, but from what I've seen, like I watched some gameplay on it. It does seem to be more trying to like focus on a story or something.
Yes, there's
Um,
like actual in-game cutscenes that happen while
yeah,
fighting events, like stuff. Like I've actually failed the missions a couple times. So there was like times where like I had to protect people or I had to like take out this person in a certain amount of time, and I was just lollygagging like because I got used to how you play when 100-year war, trying to increase your fame level, trying to just kill and do as much as possible. That
yeah,
they didn't bullshit. Actually, got me out of there.
yeah. Would it as far as like the mission structure? So like the flow of it is a little weird to me. So you get like I guess you unlock or they just appear with time. I'm not even sure like how these missions come about, but each mission is like a little battle or a skirmish or something. And you get to choose between, England or France. And it's usually England and France will typically have like the same battle and then you get to I guess choose your side. But some of these missions like if you just go for the objective, which is like the point of the mission, it's so short,
This could be three
and then
minutes flat.
yeah,
It'd
and
be
then
so fast.
yeah, like some of them are really short and you just don't get much from them. So I'm like, what was the point of that mission? Like I barely got any gold and my fame barely went up. It's not like I got any like I'm just like, am I supposed to just keep doing these smaller skirmishes? And then that's when I realized, and that's when we had talked about essentially extending the time that you're in a specific mission by going around and capturing
And
every
doing
base possible.
everything but because they'll give
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
like 3 days, which are split in between. Like each day is 10 minutes of game time.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
And then like you pretty much just clear the whole map and
Ev-
until the final day and then just clear that one base.
yeah. Yeah. It's a pretty big map.
Too big of a map. It's
Yeah.
humongous. That's why I stuck with only mounted units from like halfway through the game because walking as the sword units, oh my gosh, it can take you forever. I was putting the speed up boost on your item slot,
Yeah. Yeah. The
and even
pennon. Yeah.
then, it was still not like fast enough.
No, I think the what is it? The knife class,
Oh
or like the
yes,
thieves. They're pretty fast, but like yeah, like it's not like it feels good to traverse or anything. It just I mean, they kind of have awkward animations and like that's something that I always pay attention to is like animations and character design and stuff like that. So when you are a character and like they're just holding the sword and shield and their run is like this static loop of animation and it just like looks off. I'm just
yeah,
like
and the whole unit is doing the same
exactly.
animation,
Yeah,
moving.
it's like copy and paste. I'm like they could have added a little bit of variation
At
or
least give
something.
me a unique out like
Yeah.
animation.
Yeah, but that wasn't the case. So like that made it even more like unbearable to like extend these missions to from what it would maybe like a 3-minute mission to like a 20-minute mission where I think Koei has always had like trouble with animations even in Dynasty Warriors like walking animations and stuff like that they've always been a little funky.
Yeah, they've just started getting good at animations, and I think that's only because
Yeah.
Nintendo's like, listen, you're not about to do us like this. Because I didn't even know that they also helped work on the new Fire Emblem game as well too.
Which one? Which new
The
Three
Three
Houses?
Houses, yeah,
Oh, oh,
like they
what?
like it's same engine and everything as the Dynasty Warrior games and stuff. So that's I think that they're slowly learning as Nintendo is giving them their seal of quality that they're like, hey, listen, we need to step it up because Samurai Warriors 5 is starting to look like that too, since it's a complete reboot of the whole franchise.
I would say Koei's one of my favorite developers just because like I I do love or Koei's a publisher. Omega Force is one of my favorite, developers.
No,
Um,
yes.
but I've always noticed that with their main series, like their shit, Dynasty Warriors, I
They
feel
don't
like they're
care.
so yeah. But like when it comes to like Hyrule Warriors, uh,
Persona 5 Strikers, they made a
yeah,
whole JRPG with like
Dragon Quest Heroes, like those games look so good, and like I'm like, yo, these are like I don't know if you guys were given more money or something. Like you would assume it'd be a cash grab, but like they really know what they're doing in other games, but not their own series. It's weird. And
yeah.
you would think with Bladestorm they'd put a little bit more into it because it's not like a main Dynasty Warriors game. But
Right. But that's what I was thinking back when it goes back to that rumor of like this being a Kessen series
yeah,
game. Like if this game was called Kessen 4, I think that's like first of all, nobody would have probably picked it up when they saw Kessen 4 and it was European people. They'd be like,
what? Yeah,
no. But yes, you know what I mean? Like it gives you interesting things. And I guess that's kind of like I wanted to touch on the book system of
yeah,
how
yeah,
you like level up and stuff, like how essentially in the game, when you do stuff in the game and when you level up, and I think it's permanent. Is that event permanent in the game? Like every time you like log on and it's like 1.5 EXP boost. Is that just like a permanent thing for the game?
Yo,
Or
I think that's based on because okay, so Dragon Quest Heroes 2 has the same thing where like each day you log in, you get like some sort of you get more XP this day, more fame, you get. So I'm
huh,
guessing
that's just
Bladestorm
like a
does this.
thing?
Yeah, I'm guessing Bladestorm just like does a random like every day you play, you get like a random buff, I guess. I
Hmm.
think. But I feel like it's a negligible. I never actually noticed. I'm like, what's happening?
Yeah,
I don't
because
know.
I thought about it only in the beginning. Because in the beginning, when I first played, that's when I was switching. Because you can switch between any. If you see a random unit of knives or bows walking, you can just grab them and then become the unit.
Right,
And in
yeah.
the beginning of the game, I was like, "Oh, this is level 1 still. Okay, I'm gonna go level them up." And you kill one unit, and it just
It was just so
it just
satisfying. I
yeah, it
love
just
that shit.
levels up so fast, and
Yeah.
I was just spending the skill points, and it's just so nice, like adding leadership and seeing the unit grow or increasing the skills. Like you really feel the power creep when you increase the skills. Though that also leads to the negative of hate that it's all tied to fame as well too. Example, like there's a dual sword class that gets unlocked later,
Yeah, yeah.
and like camels and elephants and like there's certain like special units that get unlocked that you can like use, and you can't even equip better equipment. You get the same equipment for like 40 missions. You don't
Yeah.
really get like anything special for maxing out classes or anything like that. It's just okay, you maxed it out, cool, whatever. Get out my
That
face.
is
There's no new skills or nothing.
yeah. You know what? I think it would have benefited if like if they had less units almost. There's
Yes,
almost too many and sometimes they double up on like each other. I'm like, "Oh, well, why would I?"
like pole arms and spears should all be the same. They should all be in one unit.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's long
I
spear, short spear. Same with bow. It's like arch. It's like bow, horse
longbow.
bow, long bow, and then I think camels get a bow too. So it's like,
There yeah,
like
that there's halberds too and then like axes and I'm like, that's
you
all
could
the same
this you can just
yeah,
combine
like
them all.
I think it would have been cool maybe if they sort of truncated it and did maybe by size or something like like medium swords or something and then just included everything that would maybe be like an axe because an axe and a sword are pretty similar. They should have just like combined that um in the same book maybe and then like giving you the option like okay you're going to choose this warrior, he can either have a sword or an axe and then
Yeah,
maybe give you the ability to like change.
specialized.
Yeah, specialize, like it just feels like it could have been uh like really really interesting and it just feels like they scratched the surface with something and I just feel like if they had maybe one more game they could like expand on some of these ideas.
Right. S-
Yeah,
Tag on down because there is like subsections for the damage, like edge, blunt, point. You know what I mean? Like range. So like They could
Yeah,
have
which
split the classes into like those, and then you specialize into each. Like they could have had the base ones that increase like the army size and stuff like that, and then slowly go into each little part and have little buffs and stuff that you can add.
the gameplay for some of them too is like a little. I mean, like the archer gameplay is the worst one, man.
If
I'm like,
anybody mained archers in this game, you're playing it wrong. Like you should not
yeah,
be
like,
playing
oh
ever
god.
archers. There's never a time to play archers.
Oh man, it's you know, it'd be cool too if you could create your own squad. So like, let's say that you wanted, all sword and shield guy, or not all sword, like half sword and shield guys, and then maybe like 4 archers in that squad, so that you
Yeah,
have like, you know what I mean? Like,
you
so you have
got
a
the range
squad.
unit.
Yeah,
Because there
that'd be
is
cool.
like an army selection thing that you can do once you unlock the ability to
Yeah,
have like subordinates. There is
that's
a
right.
thing that you can do where you combine the armies, but I noticed that when I combine my mounted units with my
With
non-mounted units, I can't use the non-mounted unit skills. I can only use the mounted unit skills, and it's just like,
yeah,
okay, well, this is just pointless.
yeah, it overrides it unless like both squads are the same like class, like mounted units.
Yeah,
Um, because I thought I could be clever too. I'm like, oh shit, what if I fucking get all these archers and like, whatever other class and like, do
put them
big
in the back.
damage. Yeah,
Yeah,
but no, I'm like, you guys aren't like now they're just like super ineffective because they're in the fray of the battle as opposed to like being more distant and but
yeah. I didn't even try. I think only a couple of times I did the army. I just didn't like it because it felt like I was moving slower. And so I just never did it. And I would always just send them somewhere else and I would go do something else. But I think I did swords, pole arms,
mhm.
and then we were going around and doing it like that. But I mean, they're pretty much the same units. It's kind of close.
Well, what was your favorite class? Or your favorite is that what they're called, right?
Yeah, classes, horses. I mean, oh yeah, horses was my favorite class, but yeah, classes, professions, weapons. I don't know what they were
Yeah,
called.
yeah, books. I guess. What was your favorite
Books,
book?
yeah, yeah. My favorite book was horses. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm, I would say it time and time again. Moving in this game is imperative, and using mounted units, I can get across the like clearing a battlefield was so fast because like it gets to a point where especially because you can level yourself up with skill points
mhm.
instead of using those skill points to keep leveling up these new classes that I'm getting. I was just like, no, I'm just gonna spam all points into getting my horses up. Like I think my horses are like level 70 or something crazy like that, and they're all maxed out everything else. So
God
when
damn.
I don't even have to activate. I just hold R2. I don't even have to activate most of the time, like the charge or the accelerator or anything. I just go straight through a units and I
Just
just
normal
murder
attack. Yeah,
everything. And
that's crazy.
it's great because I can just charge through a whole base and
Mhm.
instantly clear it, and then just keep running to the next base, and it never stops because they're the fastest unit too. So it just keeps going, and
Yeah.
it saves so much time because I was playing. There was a couple times I sat here and I fell asleep right here in this chair, like whoa, walking with the swords and stuff like that. It's a
Damn.
couple times I drowned my eyes.
This is a good like podcast game.
Yeah,
I would say I this was a game that I would just like throw on a podcast and like just play like a couple missions. But yeah, it's if you're not doing the music, I feel like the music they needed more variation too. Like
it
after
all
30
sounded like
hours, I'm
yes, it
like,
all sounded the same. It started to just blend together.
yeah, I'm like, this is I think there was only like 2 tracks that they used in battles, and then I feel like they could have used different tracks for different areas, or something, but that made it feel even more repetitive after like, maybe 10 hours in. I was like, am I gonna hear anything new?
It
Like it's
doesn't
the same.
help that you're hearing the level up noise, the clashing, the skills blasting,
Yeah,
people
yeah,
yelling. So I mean, it doesn't really help that you could barely hear anything that's going on anyway.
yeah. I think the like numbers, like when you attack, there's just too many numbers that you can't even read what number is like what damage is being done to what unit and how much because there's like so many numbers everywhere, you know?
Yes,
Like,
I can definitely agree on that.
yeah,
Because
it's
once you,
satisfying,
yeah,
but like I'm just like I don't know what this is.
I didn't need damage numbers. It's okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So I stuck to one or two of the classes. I did spears. I really liked spears. Thought they were
Yeah,
badass. The javelins, ugh, and just that was
yeah.
super
Just
cool.
as soon as they get close.
Yeah, and then what else did I do? I think swords. I'm pretty classic like that. Like I do like just sword
I
and
really
shield is
like the
cool to me.
tackle on the swords, like just the straight swords. I really like that
Mhm.
they had like a tackle. If you hold R2 and then just rush into a crowd, it was
Yeah.
just like really satisfying.
Also the fencing ones or whatever. I forgot what those were
Oh,
called.
the rapiers.
Yeah, the rapiers. Yeah, yeah. I did the rapiers too, which is like they could be with swords. Like I don't know why there's a separate class.
Yeah,
Like it
they
could
could
have
have just been
just
a
been
separate section. Yeah.
exactly like yeah, like a subset within or something. Um, but I really try to stick with like yeah one or two because I felt like doing too much like I was never going to be able to like level up all of them, you know. So I'm like, well, maybe if I stick to just one or two things with each like squad mate that you got.
Right.
um
Yeah. Like you're only going to focus on horses, or you're only going to focus on this.
yeah, exactly. And so that's kind of what I try to do. So the experience was pretty I like at some point I was like, okay, I kind of want to switch to a different like play style, you know, because
Yes.
it just feels same, and it's a little passive too, you know,
Yes.
like
Just because you're not actively pressing XXY, XXXY like a Dynasty Warriors game, since you're just holding R1 to attack most of the time, and sometimes it could
exactly,
take forever to knock out a
yeah,
unit, and you're just sitting there like,
yeah.
whenever.
It'd be cool. Okay, so hear me out on this. I know like a lot of people don't like like auto attack and shit, but I feel like an auto like a like maybe like a mobile game where you can just like set the units and then just kind of I guess more RTS style, like just like have them be able to like just attack on their own, and then you could like switch to well, I guess you can do that, but I don't know.
Yeah, I would have liked if this took more cues from Kessen. Because
Yeah,
looking at gameplay of Tekken, you can zoom out the map and then just like zoom into the next unit and go and control them or tell them, hey, go do this, hey, go do this. Like if I was only England and I could build up all my English, like with the books and stuff. If I was like, okay, I'm going to build up all my units so that Prince Edward, who's a horse dude, he can be super strong and stuff like that. And Joan of Arc, she's only sword, so she'll be super strong, and I can jump up, jump the Joan of Arc, finish his base, then jump up, go over here, jump down, and do this. I think I would like gameplay more, especially because then those mercenaries that like I think there's one girl that's just an archer and one guy that's just like knives. Like it would have been really fun to play them because they would have been those characters. And I'm like, okay,
exactly. Yeah.
compared to everybody being horses on both kings are horses. Edward's a horse. There's another guy that's a horse. Horses, man.
I think they knew too. They were like, "Oh shit, walking around the battlefield is," but we already made the game, so just
Fuck
make
it, make
everybody
everybody
horses.
horse.
Yeah, make everybody horses quickly. Like, yeah. Um, it was super like an afterthought. I feel like it might have just been like, well, we wanted to create these full scale battles, and we didn't think about how long traversing, would take.
Right.
Um, and how boring and it might be just to like because you have to man there's a couple of
There's a
levels where I'm like
lot of them.
yeah there's like levels where I'm like I have to travel all the way over there like
There
I
was
wish I
some
could
times where I would literally sit there, put my controller down, and wait for the timer to end for the day because I didn't feel like walking across the map to go do something. Like that's how bad it was.
yeah that's crazy it's and you know what's interesting is that I think in the original they didn't I was reading one of the interviews from the producer and he was saying that they didn't have the ability to like switch between characters.
Yeah, I think that's
um
something that's new in this re-release.
Yeah, so could you imagine not being able to, like, at least be able to switch to your other character who's, like,
That's all the other side of the map. Yeah,
yeah,
you're
like
just stuck.
yeah, because that's
That
what I
would,
would do. I try to, like, split, like, split them up.
yeah. I would say there's also like a counter system that's completely non-existent. Like if you get to a high enough level, there's certain units like spear should counter horses super hard. Like if you get close to a spear low level as a horse, you're dead instantly. But if you're a high enough level, like me, I can just run over any unit. Like magic units destroy horses, I just run straight over them, kill them in 2 seconds, and keep moving. And it even on hard, because I was playing nightmare mode on hard because the levels of the units are tied to the difficulty that you play on. So I've been playing hard, and even now, I still just run through everything. And I feel like counters should be more prominent,
Mhm.
like swords and axes and stuff like that, because then that would incentivize me to go, oh, okay, this base is only filled for archers. I can't get close with this unit. I need to go with this unit or something like that. Because you can switch units on the fly as well. You can hire like recruits and
Yeah.
equip them to like L1 and just press a face button and then like immediately switch over to a new type of unit for the time. Like most of the time I would run through as a horse, clear out the base, oh get the base commander, and then switch to sword real fast, clean out the base, and then switch back and then ride to the next base.
I think there would have been like if there was almost some sort of restriction on like what class can take on what other class, so that
Yeah.
like
Or
there would
even
be.
like those what are they called? The missions. Even if they was like, you'll get bonus money if you only play as archers this game.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, like yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. I that would have been, yeah, definitely like something that like would have incentivized different, unit. Because there were some units I was like, when am I ever gonna use this unit? I could just always play as these high level rapiers that I have, like level 40, and like be good. Like I guess in the beginning I was like a little trepidatious to like I guess engage with classes that I was weak against, because you know how they have like the
The big
purple.
red, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna like die, but like some of the time I can, actually most
You
of the
just
time I
pop a
can.
skill real quick and you're
Yeah,
good.
yeah, I could just
Would you say that this series should make a comeback? Like, should they make a sequel and not just an Extremes Legends add on?
yeah, I would love to fucking see like a next gen or current
Ooh,
gen now, I
PS5.
guess.
Imagine this on PS5.
Dude, it would.
That might be crazy.
Yeah, the amount of characters, the better animations, maybe like a more refined book system. Um,
The scale of everything. Like, if they
y-
had, like, yeah. Oh my goodness. That's kind of crazy now. Think about it.
I guess it's hard to say if there's a market for this type of game in like Western audiences and stuff. I mean, granted, they did re-release it. I'm looking at this, but just like,
Yeah, they
but
did re-release the game, and I
s-
think even when it was announced, I was like, "Wait,
exactly, yeah. Like, I guess there's enough of a fan base that they were like, yeah, we have confidence we'll make some money back on this, and
yeah."
adding everything that they did. So I think, yeah, like a new
She is
Bladestorm
in Warriors
2.
Orochi. She's on
Yeah,
the arc, so I mean,
she is.
she is a staple in the Warriors franchise officially, quote unquote, canonically.
Though she sucks.
Yeah,
I love the way she looks, but I'm like,
her
you.
intro
Yeah, there's something about like the way she plays. Did you play Warriors Orochi all
was
like
that,
four? Have you played any of
but
them?
yeah, I played the original, and then
Mhm.
I just played the new one, for Ultimate. But I do know, what was it, three that had Ryu and
Yeah.
Tatsumi and Troy and everybody in there, and I was like,
All right.
hmm. Like I
Yeah.
feel like this would be such a. I'm trying to throw some sauce on this. I don't know if it's just because of the European setting that makes this game like a super hard sell. Because
Mm.
even as a kid, I was kind of like, I don't know if it's because I was a weeb or because like the way it worked. I was like, all right, man, I'm not really rocking with this because there's another weird game that like nobody ever played called 99 Nights or something like that.
On the Xbox, yeah.
Yeah, and
I didn't
it's
play it,
still,
but yeah.
yeah, it was pretty much a Dynasty Warriors clone. But could do the same thing. You can control units for a specific amount of time and like attack bases and catapults or whatever you need. And like I feel like even like a fantasy setting, more unreal. They tried it with Nightmare, but see the thing is, the Nightmare units they add, like they're pretty much the same units. Like they add like goblins, but they're just sword units, or
Oh, so it's
Giants.
yeah,
Yeah.
like a cosmetic kind of thing.
Yeah. The only real ones are like giants. Like griffins are literally horses. Dragons are a little bit different. Ogres are kind of there's a little bit more that are more to it, but once again, do you want to walk with a bunch of ogres across the map? They are slow. They are too slow.
I'm trying to think of like what would improve that? Like aside from maybe like the animations and like you want a big map obviously for something like this. So like I was trying to think of like okay, what would make this better? Like if we could speed it up, like if hit like a fast forward kind of 2 times speed kind of thing, like with a lot of
Yeah,
like
for
these
if the walk speed was fast. But see, that wouldn't do anything because then that would just make the battlefields feel smaller. It's kind of like how later Dynasty Warriors games have that like auto run when you start holding like when you just start moving and it just automatically speeds up
speeds
and
up.
it's
Yeah.
yeah. It'll kind of be like that. I mean, only thing I can personally think of is if you make this an MMO.
That was
That's what it's a big
that
jump, but
came
hear
out of
me out.
nowhere. Okay, okay.
5v5 and you can okay, that sounds horrible now I think about it. But that's the only thing I can think of that'll make this interesting. Like there's a Conqueror's Blade, which is kind of sort of the same thing. It's a free to play MMO where you control like the one person and they have a whole moveset and everything, but then you also control a unit and you go in like I think it's either 5v5, 10v10. I don't know how many people it is in a battle, but it's a team of those people versus a team of the other people, and then there's just a bunch of other NPCs and stuff in like a battle.
Yeah.
Like if you have like multiplayer, we need to try co-op. We should probably record some co-op, try some out, and see how it
For
is for Bladestorm to see
oh, okay.
how much of a difference it is playing multiplayer because this game does have multiplayer, even though who would freaking play with you? Like,
I know there's no one. Also, yeah, like I had messaged you. I was like, "Oh, we could have done co-op on this."
yeah,
I didn't even I thought it was like I knew you could you can download other people's characters or something. Like
yeah.
yeah, so I didn't know that you could actually play with each other like that. But yeah, I don't know why we didn't even think about doing that before doing this video.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
But yeah,
we
but
tripping.
this game is very like drab looking too.
Yes,
Not to say that everything needs to like have like an
flashes.
anime, yeah, like or just like cell shaded or anything like that. But um, I feel like it is a little. I don't know. It's just like a little brown, you
Yeah,
know.
because all the units you get a bunch of units that look the same,
Exactly. Yeah.
and the I noticed, and this threw me off ever since I saw it because you can see it especially when it's like a wintertime map. It is really like the trees are JPEGs. They're just pixels, they're flat pixels. Like there's 3D trees, and then
Mm.
there's pixel trees in the towns, and it throws me off because they're rotoscoped to your camera. So no matter where you
So they,
turn, it's going.
yeah,
Yeah, and it's just weird stuff like that. That I'm like, you could have just took away the trees. I didn't need trees in this town. Like it's okay. Like there was one part where I accidentally got hit over a rail or something from a horse, and I was
mhm.
stuck in the rotoscope. So I couldn't see where I was, even though there was a clear opening to get out of the gate. I was just stuck, and I was like, I'm just gonna wait for the day to win. I don't know what to do.
Yeah. I think. Um. So like I'm kind of thinking about Dynasty Warriors 9, their engine. Have you seen
Ooh,
Yeah. So
yeah.
like I would
I
have,
barely played that. It'd actually be very interesting to play because I know it was fucking horrible when it first came out.
dude. We
That's
had yeah.
That is a back of the rack for real. That is the dark horse. That makes Dynasty Warriors 6 look like a good game. I'm like, man.
Dude, Dynasty Warriors 9, my girlfriend bought it for me on release, and I was like, "What the fuck?" But it's a game that I've come back to more than any other game ever. Like, I have, like, 90 hours in that game since its release. Not obviously, I didn't sit there and play, like,
Yeah,
that
see,
much, but, like
I bought it on PC when it first came out, and it
mhm,
was unplayable. And
yeah.
I had played too much to where I couldn't refund it. So I play it every now and again, and I'll try, and I go, nah, man, this is something I gotta play on a console. It just doesn't
Yeah.
work on PC.
Yeah, I don't know if they've really supported it with a lot of patches, even, like, up to like last year, they were still like patching stuff, and they have a bunch of DLC for it, like for
Yeah,
costumes and shit.
the Koei
But
way. Spend
yeah,
$90 in costumes.
yeah, dude, yeah, it's a lot, and I think Bladestorm would benefit from this engine just because like that map in Dynasty Warriors 9 is so massive and open worlds, and like it's kind of cool to go from battle to battle, and then from like like a little village to like an actual uh, like a bigger town, stuff like that, and just be able to like buy shit as opposed to like this going back to the bar or like the tavern, just like
Yeah,
keep it all open worlds. And yeah, like you can camp with like your units or something, and you can like swap them out at different like barracks or something. I don't know, like I think there could definitely be like a huge improvement for the series, and I think it's just a risk, and I don't think we will see anything like that because
yeah. I think if anything, well, they should just stick their guns to getting some cool license to make Mushu games for, instead of trying this again. Like, if anything, this might actually work as a sequel if they do something like giving you a Dynasty Warriors character with a whole moveset
Mhm.
and controlling the units at the same time. I think that'll really be the thing that'll make it go, because even then, like if I had, because then I could be the same thing I like, the horse person or the sword person, and have archers with me. And then if somebody comes up, I can do my Dynasty Warriors, knock out the whole crowd, and then have my
Yeah,
archers do their thing. Hey, come attack me. Hold on now.
dude, yeah,
Sizing
that's
myself now. I think I just thought about it in my head. I just pictured it. I was like, oh yeah, that's cool.
yeah. I don't know why they don't like combine. Like they could easily combine like this. They could put this in Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires. Like,
Yes.
you know what I mean? Like, but if they like mixed a little bit of Bladestorm, like that would be really sick because it is fun. Like it's just like some of the stuff around the core gameplay needs to be refined, polished, or just like really cut out. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know what do you think right now? Like people want in games that would sort of prevent a game like this, like you know, being made? Like what's the appetite like? Do you think something like if they did remake it, would people buy it? Would they be interested, or they'd just be like, no, it's like another this or
The
that?
only way people will buy this game is if you make an engaging story attached to it. Like if you get, I don't care if it's the Hobbits versus Bosnia. Long as like Fire Emblem Three Houses is a perfect example of a good story that will fit perfectly for this game. Like if you have a mercenary school and you have
Yeah.
your friends and you're just like, hey, how you doing today? And you had like your little, like if the bar was more open ended, you can have relationships that can help out or
Mhm.
stuff like that. I would feel more inclined to care, you know what I mean? Because then those same friends from mercenary school that I took the training class and talked to, and they had their own little sub stories and side quests. I can see him in a battle and they'll have their own, like, depending on friendship levels, be like, oh man, I can't believe it comes down to this. Da-da. Like, it'll be cooler. And then I would feel more engaged with the story because all the characters around me are the mercenaries I'm helping or fighting against. And it's just like, oh, see you on Tuesday. That'd be
Yeah.
cooler. Like the gameplay could be honestly the same if you just add that feature, bro. I don't want to say honestly the same. Go with my first option.
No, I
On
think
top of that.
so. I guess what I'm hearing is that for you, if the story was like more engaging, like a tighter, more focused on maybe character, it would just improve the game overall. It sounds
Yes.
like.
Because there's not like I don't want to put the game back in. You know what I mean? Like after I put it down, I don't care to beat it. I don't care to 100% it. I don't care to get the platinum trophy because I don't care about the story. I don't. It's
Yeah, there's
hard
no
to
one.
care when I don't have any stakes in the story. I'm just here.
That's true. I mean, even for me, like if a character looks cool, like I'll like I that's kind of enough for me. Like I'm a huge sucker for character design, and in this, just in this game, you know how everybody looks. It's just kind of like bland and boring, and I mean, with the exception of like Jeanne d'Arc, but um, yeah, like
It
there's no one
depends on
that
which
really.
version of Joan d'Arc you're talking about.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, it's kind of just like there's nothing really holding me to it. Like I don't like didn't want to really finish it, because like there was like no attachment. So I think what you're saying is pretty spot on. There's like if there was maybe something more character driven, or even if maybe your mercenary that you make talked or had a story or like
Yeah, dialogue options when I talk to people. Or if I could switch
yeah.
sides anytime, like somebody like France can be like, actually, if you join my side, if I meet up with Prince Edward or something, they could be like, actually, if you join me right now and defect, I'll give you double the money, but everybody will get 2 times harder or something like
Yeah, dude, what? You should fucking go work for
that.
Koei and be
Just
the
walk up to the front
producer.
door like, hey,
Yeah.
no, get out the chair, bro. I got you. What y'all working on right now? Let me add some stuff.
Yeah, you're coming up with some like super like these ideas. I'm like, yeah, that fucking would be like really sick.
Yeah,
Um,
but I think this is just a product of the times. Like it came out in 2007, It was all new consoles,
yeah.
all new hardware. They just didn't I don't want to say they didn't know what to do because just looking at the list of other games that came out from Koei Tecmo around that time, other than Warriors Orochi, like you had the Trinity and the Legends of Troy games. And both of those are I need to look up some gameplay of Legend of Troy. I haven't seen Legend of Troy in a long time.
That's a game I need to buy. That game was fun.
Yeah.
It was just again like it's just fun taking the Warriors like gameplay and putting different skins on it. It's just always like kind of interesting to see what they do.
Looks like God of War a little bit. Like it looks like
Yeah.
God of War mixed with Dynasty Warriors. And that's very oddly interesting. I think I
There
probably
was
never got
what
this
was
because it was
God, what was that one? There was a game that came out on the Xbox One that was like a hack and slash. Rise, I want to say. It was like set
yes.
in, and it looked like really good, but people were
Yes.
just like, "Oh, it's pretty much like it's almost like just Dynasty Warriors hack and slash." I'm like, dude, that game looks
That's
sick.
good. Dynasty
Yeah,
Warriors works with if Persona 5 Strikers doesn't show you anything, is that Dynasty Warriors works with anything. Zelda, Fire Emblem, Persona 5,
Dragon Quest. Yeah,
Dragon
that's
Quest. I keep
yeah,
forgetting Dragon Quest Heroes is technically a Musou game.
yeah. It is,
I
dude.
should
That game, it's
I
like
should play that.
you should you play two,
Just
because
straight up skip one.
yeah, one, yeah, like they're not connected anyway, and two has like the more polished systems and like more focus and stuff, and they took a lot of feedback to heart. But yeah, Dragon Quest Heroes 2 is basically a JRPG with Muso style. It's basically, I would say, the precursor to Persona 5 Strikers. Like people
Huh.
are like, wow, like people are really hesitant about Persona 5 Strikers because of its like, gameplay. People are like, oh, I'm not really into Muso style, like button mashing and stuff. But if you look back at Dragon Quest 2, they really like put a lot of thought into skills, and you're not just button mashing. Well, to a certain extent, I mean, obviously you're always going to be mashing buttons in a
Yeah.
hack and slash, but like it is very thoughtful, and like it is like an open world, and there's a lot of like mechanics in there that really like make it like one of the best, I would say, like Muso games.
Hmm.
um and it's really good looking too, dude. Like sometimes I'm just like, what these models, and like it just has like really good lighting. And the story's kind of like whatever. I mean, it's not bad, but um, it's uh, it's just a really strong entry for like Omega Force. So when people were like doubting Persona 5 Strikers, I was like, no, I have full faith that they're gonna like be able to like implement a lot of the systems that people love from Persona 5 with their like Muso style. And I think it's gonna be good. Apparently, like it's a sequel, like direct sequel from
Oh
Persona
yes.
5. Yeah.
And the good thing
Um,
is that it doesn't have all the royal stuff that was added because it was made at the same time. So it's just like forget that stuff. Just this is the real stuff, right? This is canon.
yeah, dude, Royal was such a slap in the face.
I haven't
Psych, what
played it
the?
yet. I stopped playing Persona 5 right at Makoto's sister's palace.
Oh, okay.
Like
Yeah,
the
you were like,
main one from the intro of the game. I stopped there, and I think what came out? I think Spider-Man or something came out that
I
I
think
just
Red
started
Dead
playing.
came out around that time. I want to say.
Yeah, something came out and I just stopped playing it. And then I tried to hop back in and I didn't know anything. Like the way my persona was set up, I didn't know who had who had what. I was like,
Yeah.
oh snap. I still had Arsene. Like that's one of my favorite things to do in Persona is to keep your original persona and level him up with you and stuff. And I was like, I don't know what's going on, man. I'll
Yeah, I
replay the
fucking
whole game again. So I just said, I'll wait for Royal. I'll just wait for the eventual re-release, which they did do. So
did you pick it up?
yeah. So I'm
Okay.
just waiting.
Yeah, I didn't even bother picking it up. I was like, fuck, I'm not even done with the first one. 150 hours.
Yep.
I'm not gonna do this again. I'm
I'm
sorry.
about that same part. And then I was mad because I was thinking it was like Persona 3, where like on Persona 3, if you played the original and then you move to the pretty much the royal version of Persona 3, then you can carry over all your social links, all your compendiums. They will be just like how they were with the same levels and stuff. And it pretty much carries over all your data except for you just got to start over and
Yeah.
your equipment and stuff like that. So I was like thinking Persona 5 would have that. No, you only get like 100,000 gold
Dude, if
as a
you
bonus.
like I think like if they maybe would have done some sort of like upgrade system where it's like you can buy the Persona 5 Royal new $60, or if you already have the original, pay
But
30 or something, you
yeah,
know.
and get this extra part and we'll just start your save over at this
Exactly.
part where it starts.
Yeah, yeah. And like
But I guess
they
because the gameplay is all like from the beginning, it's like hella different. It's more intertwined since the jump. Like I think there's like different palaces and like different sections and stuff like that. So I think that might be the case.
that's what they were saying. And I was like, fuck. Yeah, I'm not. I mean, as much as I love
Inventory.
that game, yeah, I'm like, I can't. I was trying to beat it and do my like next video like around it and Persona 5 Strikers, but I cannot fuck. I'm just like sitting there for like 4 hours still in this palace. I'm just like, dude, this is, and I'm under leveled. You know how you can like press the touch button on the PS4 controller and like it shows what everybody does on their like days off and
Oh
like
yeah.
what the average level is. I'm like 10 levels below the average level.
Sheesh.
And
Sheesh.
I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, and I'm like, where do I grind? Like I'm grinding in the
Mementos?
yeah,
Is that?
yeah.
Yeah, Mementos, yeah.
Yeah, Mementos, and I'm just like, this is I'm kind of like being burned out on this. Like after so many years, I'm just like, I don't think I'm going to finish this shit.
Yeah, we too old for this now, man.
Dude,
But
people on Twitter like just be posting like, oh, 150 hours, beat it twice, and I was like, what?
this is my sixth playthrough. I'm doing a challenge run this time. I'm doing this. I'd
Yeah,
be like, look, man, you
I'm
loving more
playing on
than me.
hard. Yeah, yeah, and I really like that game. Is like I really do like that game, but I like enough is enough, kind of.
Yeah,
It's just like
there's only
I've
two games I can play through anytime I want to, and that's Infamous, Second Son, and Sonic Adventure 2. Anything else? Yeah, if I beat you, that's it, man.
Infamous Second Son.
Yeah,
That's
I don't know why,
interesting.
but see, it's like a short game. You can beat it in like
It
three.
is. It
Yeah, so
is. You know what's funny is I never played the base game, but I played that expansion with that chick.
oh yeah,
What was that called?
First
Light.
Light or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I played that a lot, and that was fun.
Yeah, but do you think more people like? Would you, at the end of the day, would you recommend Bladestorm specifically?
um, I'm in a point in my gaming life where like it's I don't even recommend people games really, unless I can tell that maybe they're into like just trying like new shit. But um, you kind of have to be like a certain person to like want to try Bladestorm. You know,
Yeah, because I know
um,
we both tried it only because childhoods we saw it and it was like, oh hey, that's a game.
exactly, yeah, and yeah, I don't know anybody that's played this game to begin with, or has even heard of it.
Yeah,
So
now I
it'd
think
be
about it. Yeah, I think even the
it,
GameStop girl looked at me when I got pulled it up and was like, Okay.
Bladestorm, never. Yeah,
We had this? I don't know.
$5. All right. So I would recommend it to somebody, but I would ask them. I would preface the question this way. I would, do you like Warriors games? And or I guess do you like Muso style games? You know,
Yeah.
and if they said yes, I'm like, this is sort of like that, but it is a different flavor, a little bit. I mean, is it more tactical? I don't.
Mm,
It's like,
if you make it tactical.
yeah, I guess you could, but I don't know. I feel like I was just still kind of
Right.
mindlessly going through shit.
Yeah, if you make it tactical, you can make it tactical with the target map. Because if you like hold the D pad and stuff, you can pull up like a quick map and like move it around to make them like go attack different places and order people around and stuff. But I mean, who's doing all that?
Yeah, because it doesn't make you do it. You're just like, I'm gonna go with the easier
Right,
option, the path of least resistance.
right.
Um, yeah, so I don't know. I would recommend it just based on that gamer's preferences. Would you recommend it?
Um, I would actually not recommend it.
No?
I would, I would see if this was 2007. I would recommend it. Cause see,
Mhm.
the landscape of gaming was different back then. Like there was different games out there. Like there's a lot more higher quality games that you can get and still have as much fun compared to this game. Like even if you get like an XCOM clone or
Mm.
like was this one game with like a mutant duck. Like besides the point, it's like I would recommend more technical strategy games or something of the sorts like that. Something that has a little more stake, something you could feel more, a little more gravitated to. But in 2007, Dynasty Warriors 6 just came out. Yeah, go ahead, pick up Bladestorm, bro. It's okay. Because I mean, what do you got to lose at that point? It's either a good game or it's one of those 360 games. And we all know that we all can think of as soon as I said that, you can all think of one specific 360 game where you go, oh my gosh.
You know what? Yeah, I think it's definitely like the gaming landscape and the context now. What we expect from games and stuff. And I think something like this, paying like $5 is maybe fine. Like, yeah, like pick it up for $5 and try it, and then you spend like 5 hours with it or whatever. It's
Yeah,
it's
it's a
fun for
good back of the rack.
exactly. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
a good back of the rack game. I
yeah.
do say, I do, now that I think about it, I do remember it being incredible frame drops when playing the game on 360. So this re-release might actually be good if you did play it and didn't like it because of the frame drops. Because I didn't really notice any frame droppage or anything like that when playing on like a base PS4.
Just just it crashing or
Yeah,
freezing on
yeah.
us.
Other than it crashing 1,000 times,
God,
I
it happened. Yeah,
it's
that I
incredible.
and they never released any. I don't like. I was looking at the last time it was like updated, and
It was release day.
yeah, pretty much. Like they never bothered. Like, oh, it's crashing on people. Nah,
Oh,
that's
that
fine.
sucks. Okay.
Yeah,
Anyway,
you. Yeah, you already bought. We already have your money. So
because when we first talked about playing this game, I put it in the thing, and I was like, oh, because I was thinking I was playing through something else, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna update this just so I have it updated. And then when I put the disc in and it finished copying, I was like, okay, update, up to date. Let's try it one more time.
yeah,
Up,
yeah.
never know. I checked the store. There was no DLC. There was nothing. I was like, this is weird. I'm not used to this.
I do want to drive home the point that like I don't know. I just feel like it's super experimental.
Yes.
Like like granted the game like look and feel is kind of familiar, but like it was a company kind of doing something different, and I feel like we're not going to get a lot of titles like this. Like right now, I think with gaming becoming so much like there's being I guess there's just so much money being thrown around with gaming that I think there's like the risk of trying new things. Something like this, is just decreasing. Like the chance of anything similar, like just where the buttons are weird and you had to like, you
Yeah.
know,
Like the only way
like
this game would get really popular is if an indie guy makes a clone of this and does everything we said, and then they go,
Yeah.
well, actually, I was inspired by Bladestorm. I watched this podcast, and they
Yeah.
took the
Yeah.
idea and ran with it.
Yeah. Uh, a lot of people who like this game definitely like it though. It has like this is like, would you call this a cult classic?
I don't know. I can't call it a cult classic, but we're the only two people that know the game.
That's true. That's
How
true.
many people classify as a cult? Because I don't know.
Like it's just maybe for like Koei Tecmo fans.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, for specific Warriors, Musu fans, this is definitely a cult classic. Even within a cult classic fan base, this is a
Exactly.
cult
Yeah.
classic.
Yeah. So it's kind of, it is a little like obscure, back of the rack kind of title, but I would say it's still worth playing. And it's just hard to recommend to anybody because like you kind of have to, yeah, like you were saying, like have some sort of tie to it or just be interested in it to begin with.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think,
But there is certain games that you might pick it up just from the cover art. You might go to GameStop, look at it, and go, "This looks interesting. It's $5." And then cop it and put it in and think it was actually really interesting for $5 and really like it. It might be something you really enjoy. There's certain people that just buy one game and that's it for like 4 months. So this
that's
might be
true.
there.
Yeah.
Or like a little kid, like how I was. I was mowing lawns and then taking the money to run into GameStop and buying whatever I could that was rated T for teen with my $20 from mowing a lawn. And this was one of those games.
Yeah. This is definitely like for, yeah, like that era for sure. I think I feel like there should be like a quick play option too.
Yeah, because even free
Because
mode, there is a free mode, but it isn't a free mode. It's just you can create your avatar here, your mercenaries, and just make a long list, and that's it, and buy your stuff. But it isn't like I want to make a battle. Let me set how many points, or let me just choose a random map with random points and have at it.
it is kind of nostalgic to me, just overall. Just I think the art style. I've mentioned this in one of my videos where I sort of talk about the like low poly kind of look of the sixth generation. Like certain GameCube games and PS2 games and stuff like that had like a look to them. Like the character models like were detailed enough, but also you could tell like the clothes was just like a JPEG on the fucking leg and shit.
Yeah,
It has that look, and I do like that a lot. But I mean, this podcast isn't a review of games really, but it's us sort of just talking about our experience with like these kind of back in the rack games. Because I don't know, I feel kind of bad like trying to review this in this setting because this game has no chance in the current gaming landscape. Of course, you
yeah.
would be
Like if
like,
this game came out today, failure.
yeah, no one would fucking play it. I mean, Grant. Wait, when did this come out? The re-release came out in 2015.
2015.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I guess they had enough money to make physical releases of it, you know,
Yeah.
and not just make it like a download only kind of thing. So that's
Because I
that's
couldn't really,
something.
when I did research, I couldn't find any sales numbers per se when it came to like Bladestorm, like how much it really made. Like,
Yeah, exactly. It had to have done really well in Japan for them to. Well, I mean, here too, like in the States, it had to have done like well enough. Maybe in
yeah,
Europe it did well or something too.
maybe.
Maybe
Because,
they're.
yeah, because I mean, looking at the review scores, it was. It was a back of a rack candidate off the rip from review scores. It was a smooth 6, smooth
Yeah,
7 out of 10 game.
yeah.
And even the Wikipedia page. See, this is gonna make me actually research the Kessen series because even the Wikipedia page says about that rumor of it being a Kessen 4 game. Because I had to find that through the Koei wiki
Mhm.
about it being a Kessen 4 game, but even this one says it was supposed to be part of the Kessen series. So
Kessen was pretty niche, I imagine, right? Because I feel like I don't even
Yes.
remember seeing copies of Kessen when I would go to the store. Like,
I do vividly remember Kessen too. Now that I see the box art, I do vividly remember my dad having Kessen because he was also a big Dynasty Warriors fan, and I
Yeah.
think he got Kessen for like cheap from like a play and trade. I do remember
Yeah.
that box art because it looked like Dynasty Warriors.
Oh.
That's why I put it in. Now that you see the cover art, you're
Yeah.
like, yeah, that does look like a
Okay.
Dynasty Warriors game.
I have, yeah. You know
And
what?
you
I
see the
think it was,
Koei logo,
yeah, the first Kessen box art looks so.
weird. It looks like, but I think that was like one of the first PlayStation games to come out. Kessen 1.
That era was so defined by like this Sengoku, you know, and like 3 like kingdoms. There's so many games around that
Yeah.
like time period for like the PS2 and late PS1 and stuff.
So I think even after Samurai Warriors came out, there's Devil Kings or Sengoku Basara.
Yeah, yeah.
There's Onimusha technically.
That was just, yeah, like it was a really cool time period, and they really, well, I guess Onimusha is that Capcom?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
just it was feudal Resident Evil, but I mean it did have
Yeah.
code and stuff. And I would say the final Onimusha was pretty much a Dynasty Warriors game. It took away the Resident Evil camera and had the behind the back camera, and it was just a full blown Devil May Cry.
Sounds kind of sick to me. I actually wanted to play like the original Omniusha. That was a game that I always saw, but like there was certain game, yeah, like there were some games when I was younger that I would stay away because like I thought that they were hard. This was one of those games. I'm like, this looks like too hard for me, you know?
Yeah.
Like I just had that like that sort of filter, like.
That was Kingdom Hearts for me. I played Kingdom Hearts 1, couldn't get past. I thought that you had to beat Riku in that very first race, and I kept doing it back and forth, and I was like, I can't do it, man. This isn't for me, I guess. And then I just never played 2. Everybody's like, Kingdom Hearts 2 is great, and I'm like, I would know. I need to play the first one. I don't know, man.
There were just games that were too hard, except for like Shadow of the Colossus. I remember everybody else thought that game was hard, and I was like,
and I thought that game was fun. Yeah, that was easy.
Yeah, I was like, this game is fucking. That's a game that I can go back to and like play a bunch.
Yes, I can say that.
And that was around the Bladestorm era too, or the Bladestorm, like when that came out, 2006, 2007, around there.
Yeah, and that's actually crazy because it says that it's part of the Dynasty Warriors series, and it makes me.
Bladestorm or Kessen?
Bladestorm. It says from the Dynasty Warriors series. It's a subset category, but
It's a spin-off title.
Yeah, but it feels like it should be for the Kessen series. But I haven't personally played Kessen. I feel like I should go back and maybe copy a cheap Kessen and see what I can get out of it. It's a launch title. It can't be $10,000.
Kessen 1, 2, and 3 all have distinct gameplay differences. Like Kessen 3 looks way more like Bladestorm, but Kessen 2 and Kessen 1 are way more strategy based. Like they're different.
So
it's
I should
weird.
go straight to Kessen 3.
Yeah, for like that, for that Bladestorm comparison.
Okay. Yeah, we'll go back to it. We'll go back and see. We'll see. But do you have any closing remarks?
No, I think that's all. I think that's all we have to say about fucking Bladestorm.
No, let's turn it off right there.
So,
where can they find you at? Other than this channel, where else can they find you at?
Yeah, well, okay, so we should say that this is like the first video for our new channel, which we're calling, I'm guessing, Back in the Rack.
Yes.
Back of the Rack.
Bargain
Bin Boys.
Bargain Bin. Name undisclosed yet.
Yeah. So I mean, hopefully you guys enjoy this and you guys want to see more of this type of content. But we're gonna be doing Second Sight next. So we're just gonna be doing, which is for GameCube, right? Only and PS2.
PC, PlayStation 2. I think there was an Xbox version as well. Okay. Yeah. It was most
yeah. So we're gonna be doing like those types of games. But you can find me nowhere because I'm never on social media. You can find me on Twitter at Bendezzer, or you can find me, or I guess follow me on Instagram as well. And I have a YouTube channel where I talk about mostly like Japanese related games, where I make music surrounding, you know, Japanese related games, and I also talk about Japanese fashion. And yeah, that's kind of where you can find me if you're interested.
Yeah, it's all in the bio right here.
And yeah, and Sondi, where can they find you at?
You can find me on Twitter at Sondi with a DIAME at the end of it. That'll also be in the bio as well, because I'm not even gonna tell you how to say that.
Yeah, we'll link it all. Yeah.
Yeah, everything will be linked. Instagram, I don't have that no more. That's a dead temptation. And you can also find me on YouTube as well at Sondi. So I normally make content about my this chair. This humongous collection behind me. I try to get through my backlog and try to actually play my collection instead of just collecting to collect and stuff like that. So if you want to see me review some weird, obscure games and talk about the history of them, you can catch me out over there.
No, yeah. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe. You know, tell us what your experience with Bladestorm was like, you know, and maybe let us know what other games you might want us to try. Some games that, you know, that are like, you know, somewhat rare, like no one really played, but, you know, like you had a really fond memory of it. Because that's, I think, what this podcast is generally going to be about, is about those games that weren't super popular, and, you know, you as a kid, like maybe played the hell out of it, you know, and maybe, you know, went back to, and it's shit now, but you still enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might hit different, you know.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this right now, and before somebody says "tack and the power of juju," I'm gonna just put this out here. I'm just gonna say it right now before somebody goes, "Bro, y'all should just play tack. That was the game right there, man." Because I'm never playing through those games again. Because there's 4 games, and people don't even know about the 4th game. That's the wild.
What? Wait, so you have like some blacklisted games? What are they?
Yeah, tack blacklisted. I'm telling you right now. Episode.
I remember tack. Yeah, fuck.
I'm telling everybody right now. No, that is a red glass. No, we're not. If all else fails, guess we gotta play some tack.
In case of emergency, yeah. Okay.
You're right. But that's all for me. I don't got no blacklisted games. That's it. Your first time watching, thank you so much. There will be some more videos somewhere on this screen. I don't know how our editing's working. I'm just here.
We're gonna have to I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna have the screens. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and catch you next time.